Most seniors fail this test, but if you still can do it, even for just 10 seconds, your chances of living to 100 just went way up. It looks easy, maybe even silly, until you realize what it reveals about your body, your brain, and your future. This isn't guesswork, it's grounded in hard science, and it's something Andrew Huberman won't stop talking about. So let's start with the test itself and why it quietly decides who stays strong, who doesn't, and what to do. The test itself. It only takes 10 seconds. No gym, no doctor, no equipment, just you standing on one foot. That's it. That's the test. You stand tall, arms at your sides, eyes open. Then you lift one foot off the ground and you hold. No wobbling, no hopping, no reaching out to grab something. Just balance, just stillness. It sounds simple, right? But here's the truth. Nearly 9 out of 10 people over the age of 65 fail this test. By 70, failure becomes the norm. And once you reach 80, doctors don't even expect you to pass it. Many won't bother asking their patients to try. And yet, this simple act, standing on one foot, might be the clearest indicator of how long and how well you're going to live. Because what you're really testing here isn't just balance. You're testing your brain's ability to communicate with your body. You're measuring reflex speed, joint awareness, muscle coordination, core stability, and overall neurological sharpness. You're also measuring your fall risk, your physical independence, and your odds of needing long-term care. Fail this test, and your chances of falling double. Your risk of losing mobility triples, and your odds of ending up in assisted care, they skyrocket. But if you can do it, if you can still stand on one foot, steady and still, it changes everything. You're not just avoiding a fall, you're resisting the quiet creeping decline that aging tries to impose on your body. You're sending a clear message to yourself and to your nervous system. I'm still in control. And that's what most people don't realize. This isn't just a strength test, it's a signal check. A fast, unforgiving way to see whether your body still listens to your brain and how quickly it responds. And the reason most people fail isn't because their legs got weak. It's because their brain and body stopped working in sync. That disconnection doesn't begin in the muscles. It starts in your nervous system, the place where coordination, balance, and longevity are either maintained or quietly lost. To truly understand what's slipping and how to get it back, you have to look beyond the surface. Like it's what this test really measures. At first glance, you think this test is about balance, just balance, but it's not. Because when you lift one foot off the ground, you're not simply testing your legs, you're testing your entire nervous system. In that one quiet moment, your brain goes to work. It sends hundreds of signals down your spine, into your joints, across your core, activating systems you're not even aware of. Your body isn't just standing there, it's scanning, adjusting, recalibrating. Your nervous system is asking one very primal question: are we safe? Your inner ear joins in, helping you track position and motion. The pressure sensors in your feet send feedback to the brain. Your knees begin to engage their reflexes. Small, deep muscles in your hips and ankles fire up to stabilize you. And the motor cortex, the region in your brain responsible for movement, is processing, fine-tuning, recalculating every millisecond. And here's the catch. If even one of those systems is off, you'll feel it. You wobble, you tip, you reach for the wall. You call it being clumsy, but it's not just a stumble. It's a warning. Because this test, this ridiculously simple 10-second task, is not really a strength test. It's a connection test. A fast, powerful way to see how tightly your brain and body are still working together. It tells you whether your nervous system can still detect a threat, make a decision, and send the right signal to your muscles in real time. And when that connection starts to fade, it doesn't announce itself with sirens. It whispers. It shows up in the small things: tripping over a rug, missing a step you've climbed 1,000 times, grabbing the railing more often than you used to, just to be safe. And then one day, it doesn't whisper anymore. It shows up as a fall, a broken hip, a trip to the ER, a hospital bed, a life suddenly flipped upside down, all because your brain didn't respond fast enough to catch your body. That's why this test matters. Because what starts as a little loss of balance is really a loss of communication, a breakdown in how your brain and body talk to each other. And the longer that breakdown goes unchecked, the harder it becomes to get it back. But here's the good news, and it's not just wishful thinking. Your nervous system is adaptable, even at 70, even at 80, even beyond. And that's exactly what Andrew Huberman's research shows. The connection may fade, but it's not gone. It can be reawakened if you know how to train it. Huberman's warning: Andrew Huberman doesn't waste time with gimmicks. He's not the kind of expert who chases shortcuts or trends. He's a neuroscientist, a Stanford professor, a man who spent his career studying how the brain controls every part of the human body, from how you sleep, to how you build strength, to how long you might live. And when he talks about aging, his advice is sharp and clear. Don't just ask how you feel. Ask how your brain is talking to your body. That's exactly what this test reveals. Because to Huberman, balance isn't just about staying upright. It's a proxy, a stand-in for something deeper. What you're really measuring isn't just muscle control. You're measuring how fast and how accurately your brain processes feedback from your body and how well it adjusts in real time. When he breaks it down, Huberman points to something called neural latency, the delay between your brain sensing a threat and your body responding to it. As we age, that delay naturally gets longer. And not because we've stopped exercising or because we're out of shape, but because the system itself begins to fray. The electrical wiring between brain and body loses speed, it becomes less precise. And once that delay hits a certain threshold, something dangerous happens. You fall. Not because you weren't trying, not because your body gave up, but because the message, the signal from your brain, didn't reach your muscles in time. Huberman calls it a decay of precision, a slow, quiet erosion of the connection between mind and movement. At first, it shows up as hesitation. A second guess before taking a step, a slight trip on the edge of a rug, a quick reach for a wall that wasn't there the week before. It feels like nothing, but inside your nervous system, the change is real. The circuits are slower, the balance is slipping. The feedback loop that once kept you safe is breaking down. But here's where it gets hopeful. Huberman doesn't say this decline is permanent. In fact, he's clear about it. Neuroplasticity doesn't disappear with age. It just requires more intention. In other words, the connection can be rebuilt, but only if you train it, only if you use it, test it, and challenge it. The 10-second balance test isn't just a challenge, it's a spotlight. It exposes whether your nervous system is still tuned in or already falling behind. Most people ignore that spotlight. They laugh it off until the fall happens, until the fracture, until the hospital bed, until the slow fade into dependence begins. But if you're listening now, some part of you already understands this test might be the one thing that shows you where you really stand and what you need to do to keep standing strong. Because what takes you down rarely announces itself. It creeps in, unnoticed, step by step. The silent decline most people miss. Here's the part no one tells you. Balance doesn't disappear all at once. You don't wake up one day and suddenly lose it. It fades quietly, gradually, while life moves forward around you. Maybe it starts with something small. You skip a walk one day because it's raining. Then you start avoiding kneeling to pick something up because the floor feels just a little too far away. You begin using the handrails on stairs just in case. You tell yourself you're just being smart, being cautious, and that's how it happens. Not with drama, but with quiet compromises. What used to feel normal now feels like a risk. You don't call it decline, you call it being careful. You convince yourself it's just part of aging, but every time you stop moving a certain way, your body stops remembering how. It's not about strength, it's about memory, and not the kind stored in your head, the kind stored in your nervous system. Andrew Huberman refers to this as neural disuse. It's not a matter of weakness, it's a matter of forgetting. When you stop challenging your brain to maintain balance, the brain stops prioritizing it. Your nervous system reallocates resources. It begins to forget how to keep you stable because it assumes you no longer need to be. That's when it becomes dangerous. You bend down a little too fast. A dog runs past and brushes against you. You take a misstep while distracted. And the system that once responded in a flash, the system that used to automatically protect you, fails to catch up. The signal comes too late, and suddenly everything changes. A fall, a fracture, a hospital bed, a life interrupted in a way that could have been prevented. Because falls don't just injure your body, they injure your confidence. And when that goes, so does your freedom. You start hesitating, you stop doing things alone, you become more cautious, less active, more dependent. The decline that was once silent becomes loud and unavoidable. But there's something you should know. If you catch it early, before the system shuts down completely, you can reverse it. You can bring the connection back online. You can rebuild the feedback loop between brain and body. The circuits can be reactivated. Balance can return. And it all starts with something simple, standing on one foot. That 10-second test doesn't just tell you where you are right now. It tells you where you're going. And more importantly, it gives you a chance to change direction before it's too late. But here's the part that matters most. Failing the test isn't the end. It's your starting point. How to train your body to pass this test. Let's say you tried the test. You stood up, lifted one foot off the ground, and within seconds your body started to wobble. You felt the tension rise. A subtle panic crept in. Instinctively, you reached out to grab a chair, a wall, or anything nearby to keep from falling. Maybe you lasted a few seconds, maybe even less. Either way, you didn't pass. But here's the part that matters most. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. Failing the test doesn't mean you're doomed. It doesn't mean you're too old or too far gone. What it means is that your nervous system needs attention. And that's good news, because balance can be trained, rebuilt, reinforced, even in your 60s, even in your 80s. Andrew Huberman is very clear about this. Neuroplasticity doesn't disappear with age, but it does require something you can't buy: consistent, intentional effort. The best part? You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a personal trainer. What you need is structure, a simple, repeatable routine that sends a message to your nervous system. This still matters. Keep it sharp. Start here. Stand next to a kitchen counter or sturdy chair. That's your safety net. Now lift one foot off the ground and hold it there. This is called the kitchen counter drill. You might wobble, you might tip. That's okay. Reach for support if you need it, but don't quit. Even 5 seconds is progress. What matters is that you're turning the system back on. Next, try heel raises. Stand tall, then slowly lift your heels so you rise onto your toes. Lower back down with control. Do 10 reps, then 20. This strengthens the stabilizer muscles in your ankles and calves, muscles your brain has probably stopped calling on. These are the same muscles that catch you when you stumble. Then move on to visual focus training. Pick a point on the wall and balance on one foot while staring at it. Don't look around, don't shift your gaze. Train your brain to lock in and tune out distractions. This exercise tightens the connection between your eyes and your balance system, something that often weakens with age. Now let's talk about something most people overlook: breathing. Practicing controlled breathing while balancing is one of the most powerful tools you have. Inhale slowly through your nose, exhale even more slowly through your mouth. When you calm your breath, you calm your nervous system. And when your nervous system is calm, your balance improves. You're training your body to stay steady, even when it feels unsteady. Finally, add in the step-up progression. Find a stair or low bench, step up slowly with one foot, pause at the top, then step down. Alternate legs. This builds single leg strength, coordination, and stability. It teaches your body to move with control under uneven weight, exactly the kind of control you need to pass the balance test. All of this, it doesn't need to take an hour. Just give it 10 focused minutes a day. But do it like it matters, because it does. What you're doing isn't just physical exercise, it's neurological reprogramming. You're rewiring how your brain and body communicate. You're teaching your nervous system to respond faster, more clearly, more confidently. You're saying, don't shut this function down. I still need it. And the amazing thing, your body listens. Then one day, maybe when you're brushing your teeth or walking across the room, you'll try again. You'll lift one foot, and this time you won't wobble. You'll hold, you'll breathe. You'll feel steady, not because it was a lucky moment, but because you trained for it, you earned it, you showed up, and your nervous system showed up with you. That's what separates those who fade quietly from those who fight back. But even if you can now pass the 10-second test with ease, don't stop there, because there's a harder version of this test, one that exposes even more, and it's one almost nobody passes, because real stability isn't proven when things are easy. It's revealed when everything you rely on is taken away. The hidden part of the test, eyes closed. So you passed the 10-second balance test. That's great. It means your nervous system still has some fight in it. But before you celebrate, there's one more challenge. And this one separates the few who are maintaining from the very few who are actively reversing decline. Now, close your eyes. Same rules, same stance. One foot lifted, arms relaxed at your sides. But this time, no visual input, no visual feedback to guide you, no subtle room cues to help you adjust, nothing to rely on except your internal systems. This is where everything changes, because most people, even those who pass the standard test, don't make it past 3 seconds with their eyes closed. Some tip almost instantly, the safety net of sight disappears, and suddenly their nervous system panics. Why? Because vision is what the brain depends on the most for balance. Without it, you're exposed. There's nowhere to hide, no illusion of stability to fall back on. Now your brain has to rely on something deeper: proprioception, the body's ability to sense itself in space; vestibular control, which comes from the inner ear; and spatial awareness that's built through repeated movement and training. If any of those systems are weak, you won't last. You'll feel your balance shift. You'll feel your body tense. And then you'll tip. Andrew Huberman calls this the purest test of internal neural stability because with your eyes closed, the game is honest. Your nervous system can't fake it. Your reflexes can't rely on visual correction. It's just raw input and response. Either the circuits are sharp or they're not, and this is what makes it so powerful. If you can hold your balance in the dark even for 5 seconds, it means your internal systems are doing something rare. It means your brain is communicating with your body in real time without delay. It means your reflexes are alive, your core is engaged, your joints, your inner ear, your spine, all of them are still listening and responding with precision. That's not just coordination, that's resilience. And it's not common. Most people your age, even active ones, have already lost that level of control. They don't even know it because their vision has been covering for their nervous system this entire time. But remove that crutch and the truth surfaces fast. So this version of the test, it's more than a milestone. It's a marker. It draws a hard line in the sand. On one side, you've got decline, dependence, hesitation, a life that shrinks a little more every year. On the other side, you've got confidence, clarity, freedom, the ability to walk into any room without second-guessing your steps. When you can balance with your eyes closed even briefly, you've proven something few ever do, that your body still listens to your brain, and it responds fast. That's not just balance, that's independence. Because people who can pass this version of the test don't just avoid falls. They stay mobile longer, they keep driving, they keep climbing stairs, they stay in their homes by choice. They don't just age slower, they age on their terms. So here's the question you need to ask yourself now. Not can I balance, but can I balance it when I have nothing left to lean on? If the answer is yes, if you can stand in silence, eyes closed, no wobble, then you're doing what over 90% of your peers can't. And more importantly, you've given yourself something no pill, no treatment, no gadget can offer, control. Because when control fades, so does freedom. And that's what makes this test so important. Not the test itself, but what it protects. The real reason. This test matters. Let's be honest, no one's handing out trophies for standing on one foot. There's no applause, no cheering crowd, no big celebration waiting for you once you pass the test. It's not flashy, and it's certainly not glamorous, but the reward, the real one, is something far more valuable because it's not about recognition. It's about what you get to keep. If you can pass this test, especially with your eyes closed, you're not just balanced, you're connected, you're sharp. You're still tuned into the part of yourself that most people lose first as they age: control, autonomy, the ability to trust your body when it matters most. This test isn't about performance. It's not about showing off. It's about showing up for your nervous system, your reflexes, your future, because behind every false statistic you hear is a story, a real person, a real life that changed in an instant, a hip that never healed quite right, a hospital bill that drained a savings account, a home that was given up too soon, a routine forever interrupted, a confidence never regained. But here's the thing, that doesn't have to be you. Andrew Huberman makes this point crystal clear. The systems that seem to fail with age, they don't disappear. They just go quiet. They get lazy. They fall asleep because we stop giving them reasons to stay awake. But the moment you start challenging those systems again, through balance drills, through movement, through presence, they begin to wake back up. That's what this test reveals, not your weakness, but your window, a window into what's still alive and working inside of you. And it's a mirror that reflects how your brain and body process stress, how they handle fear, instability, and the unknown, and how they adapt in real time when there's nothing left to lean on. So when you pass this test, not just the easy version, but the hard one, the one where your eyes are closed and your senses are stripped down, you don't just feel strong, you feel free. Because now you know the truth. You're not declining. You're not done. You're not fading into a slow, quiet retreat. You're still here, still standing, still steady. You're moving through life with intention, with confidence, with command. You're not relying on luck or hoping someone will catch you if you fall. You've trained your body to catch itself. And in doing so, you've gained something no supplement, no medication, no quick fix can ever deliver. You've reclaimed control. And in a world where most people surrender that without ever noticing, you've chosen differently. You showed up. You pushed back, you listened to your body, and your body responded. You didn't settle for safety. You reached for strength. So if you can still do this, stand tall, hold your balance, eyes closed, mind steady, then you've proven something powerful. You've proven that your nervous system is still alive, still responsive, still sharp. You've proven that you're not just aging, you're aging well. And that simple act, that quiet personal victory, it might just be the clearest signal that you're on your way to something most people only hope for. because if you can still do this, you just might live to 100.